Um, it's always great for me to come back to India. I've been here, actually I did some calculations recently, I guess I've been here over 50 times now in the last 10, 12 years or so. And the thing I love about coming to India is the energy and enthusiasm that I find in all the people here. And I think it's pretty amazing that we can decide we're going to throw a party and a few days later 100 people show up. It's just an amazing thing about this place. So I thought I might start, am I going the right way? Yeah. I thought I might start by just briefly introducing myself. Very recently I actually celebrated my 30th anniversary at Pega. And this is a picture of how I used to look like when I was just a little bit younger, I guess. Over the years, Pega was it was 16 people when I joined the company. It's been quite remarkable over the years to see how we've grown, the journey that we've been on. I like to think that in many ways working for Pega has changed my life. And as Suman said, there are a bunch of ex-Pega people here who've, I think, done pretty well and have gone out into the broader world and are doing very well. Hopefully, I think the people who are working for our partners, our customers, are also getting great personal and professional benefit out of this technology. So it's great to be here to be able to talk to you about that. My responsibilities at Pega have grown over the years. I'm now responsible for the platform, which is Pega 7. And that's from a product management perspective, also from an engineering perspective. And as you know, the center of gravity of engineering at Pega is right here in India. Between Hyderabad and Bangalore, it's something like 80% of our engineering capacity is here. And that has been a tremendous journey for us. We came here because we recognized that there was just tremendous talent here, an abundance of talent. It's really, really hard to compete in some of the areas where we find ourselves in other parts of the world. We're about a quarter of a mile from MIT in Cambridge, which is one of the best technology schools. But between us and MIT is Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and everybody else. I mean, everybody else knows that it's a great place to be, so it's tremendously hard. But India produces so many great engineers that we saw it as an opportunity to come here. I think it's been a tremendous success for us. And I think it's also been a success from a perspective of the partner community. We've seen it flourish here, and as Suman said, we're working hard to try to encourage more of that. So I'm also responsible for a couple of other things, and these are maybe more recent responsibilities. One is strategic applications, the horizontal strategic applications, which is sales, marketing, and customer service. And also about a year ago, I took over responsibility for the cloud. And that was a recognition that cloud is becoming much more important to us as a company, and also a recognition that if we wanted to really succeed in becoming a cloud-native technology, we had to combine the engineering capabilities with the cloud capabilities. When they were separate, there really wasn't the synergy. And I think making that move over the last year, we've been able to move very, very quickly to introduce that kind of synergy. And I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. So, I work for Alan. Many of you, I think, either know or know of Alan Trefler. I always describe him as a guy who has a brain the size of a planet. He's capable of playing 25 simultaneous chess matches. And in almost every conversation that you have with him, it feels like you're talking to somebody who's capable, who actually is playing 25 simultaneous chess matches while you're doing that. Right now, it's very easy to feel incredibly good about where we are at Pega. You may have seen the press release about we're number one in the Forrester Wave, again. We're the leader in BPM for Gartner, again. We're the leader in case management, again. We're in the Magic Quadrants for CRM, again. We're succeeding in all of the places where we think it's important to succeed. But Alan has a line that he loves to throw out at you, which is, what have you done for me lately? And it's not a trivial question, because there is a saying in this business, you either disrupt yourself or somebody's going to come along and do it for you. And so we're always looking at where's the market going, where do we need to be going, what is technology doing, what are the opportunities. So I thought I would just try and show you some of the things which are basically front of mind for us as we finish up this year and go into next year. And many of these things are not new. The good thing is that we started a bunch of stuff this year. We've made tons of progress, and we're going to continue those into the coming year because we see that they're important, we see that we're making progress, and we want to make sure that we're taking things to the right level of finish. So cloud, and we have Pega Cloud, which I will have an opportunity to talk about in much more detail when we get to the product hot seat. But there are variants of cloud too. Our customers are coming to us saying they want to deploy on private clouds. They want to deploy on other public clouds. IBM approached us with their Pure System initiative, which is a sort of hybrid. It's like a cloud, a private cloud that they manage for you within your environment. So we've been working on lots of different types of cloud deployment. It's been a huge growth factor for our business. So our cloud business has been growing 70 to 80% over the course of the last 2 years. And that tells us that in the minds of our customers, it's really important. So there were some very interesting questions that came about, what's our strategy for the cloud and so on. And I'll talk a little bit about that later when we get down to the specifics of the cloud business. The platform, we released Pega 7 a couple of years ago. And we're now on actually the 10th iteration of that. Interestingly enough, the 7.1.10 version was a cloud-only version. So that maybe is surprising to people that we're starting to actually emphasize moving on the cloud. We're able to move more quickly for cloud deployments because the cloud platform has a much more limited stack. So it's easier for us to move quickly and get things out. We have to move a little more slowly when we're certifying on a whole range of databases, app servers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you will start to see, I think, as we go forward, us leveraging the ability that we have because we have an internal cloud, we have access to internal applications to be able to innovate very, very rapidly. In talking of innovating rapidly, we introduced the Pega mobile capabilities a couple of years ago. We've been really pushing hard on those. I think we now have what we think are state-of-the-art mobile capabilities, including the ability to handle a lot of work offline when there is no connection available. That's a big differentiator for us. Salesforce's offline capability is, sorry, no connection. It's important in certain areas like field service, insurance adjustments, and so on, to be able to work, actually process cases, update cases, and so on, when you don't necessarily have that connection. But the thing that's come to us becoming really a mobile developer is the stack is moving even faster. It used to be that Oracle would produce a new version every year or so, DB2 would produce a new version every year or so, so you had to keep at least certifying against new stack components. iOS and Android move much, much quicker than that. And when the new phones come out, everybody wants support for access to the new phones. So we've found that we've had to change the pace of our engineering and the pace of our development and release strategy. And that's driving a lot of change in the way that we do engineering, and it's actually driving architectural changes in the product. The product is comparatively monolithic. The platform comes out as the whole lot in one kit. And we're starting to change that. We're moving much more to a microservices architecture where we can incrementally release things on a more continuous delivery basis. That drives back into our development processes where we're using different techniques and different technologies to start to do continuous integration and really be production ready at the end of sprints, as opposed to going through hardening phases and so on. We're still on a journey. There's still a lot of work for us to do there, but it's causing us to pretty fundamentally rethink things. Now, when we talk to our customers, and this is something I'll be interested in hearing from you when we get into the product hot seat later, they tell us that they're finding exactly the same requirements. That they need to be able to deliver things to production at a much more rapid pace. And sometimes that's not just delivering things that are inside Pega itself, but there are ancillary components that need to go along with it. Integration, WSDLs, and other things. So they're asking us to try and help them with things like that. And I'd be curious to see if this is the same sort of problem that you guys face. On the applications front, we made a determination. We used to sell things called frameworks. And frameworks were designed to give you a leg up, as it were, a starting point from which you could build a disputes application or an onboarding application or whatever. The feedback from our customers and our partners and from the market is that they really wanted something which was much more complete. They love the idea of build for change. We don't want to just be well, here you are, the SAP model. This is the application. Change your business to run the way our application says you should do that. We always want to emphasize the thing that sets us apart. It's very easy to evolve and change using the Pega platform. But we want to make it so that the delivery model is a little different. The delivery model used to be, okay, here I am, we're going to implement this application for you, tell me what you need. And we spent a lot of time figuring out what it is that you need. We'd then look at what we had in the framework, and we'd figure out how to get from the framework to what you need, and we'd build it and deploy it and so on. Moving to applications means the delivery model is very different. The delivery model is, hey, we're here, we're going to install the application, we're going to hook it up to all of your interfaces, your customer file, your accounting system or whatever, and we're going to have it up and running in maybe 60 days. Once you're up and running, you can see it working, then we're going to talk about, now what would you like to do? The ROI of that kind of delivery is so much more compelling. It really changes the equation, because one of the big obstacles to application sales, especially in large organizations and large operations where the applications are big, is not what's the cost of the software, it's the cost of the services to implement it, and do I trust you to actually get anything implemented. So being able to show value quickly, I think, is in everybody's interest, because showing value quickly encourages the follow-on business, the follow-on work to really build it out and turn it into something that's really dramatic. So you'll hear again later about our application strategy, but that's basically what's behind it. And we're putting a lot of work into finishing and being much more complete in terms of the application areas. Now, there are two kinds of applications. Pega has traditionally been in what we call strategic applications. A strategic application to a business is an application that, if it's not working well, then it's disabling the business. So if you're American Express, who are all about customer service, your customer service application is absolutely your differentiator. American Express sets itself apart as providing the best customer service in the world, and they use Pega to do that. American Express also has an HR application. The HR application probably has to be good, but you know what? It's not what they sell, and it's not how they build their business. So it's not really the strategic application for them. So they may use Pega to build that, because lots of our customers actually use Pega for building a lot of their internal applications. But we don't think it's necessarily something that's strategic to the business. So we've traditionally gone after those strategic, really mission-critical applications. Now, one of the things that we developed over the course of the last year, and we showed it at Pega World last year, to really rave reviews, was Pega Express. And Pega Express was designed to allow people to get a taste of our product without having to undergo any training at all. The idea is you could take somebody from a business background, sit them down, and they could, on the screen, figure out how to build an application. And we actually had a whole line of people at Pega World who, within the course of 45 minutes, had built a little application to process resumes, had it up and running, just by looking at the videos and using Pega Express. And we thought this was something that we were going to put out on the PTM, allow people to play with it as a way of attracting them to Pega. And our customers told us something very different. Our customers came to us and said, oh no, we want this in-house. We want to give this to our business people so that they can start to do the first thinking about what their requirements are using this. Then we can come in and we can flesh it out from there. And then they said to us, but you know what? I've got 100 applications that I need. Just little things which are going to solve a business problem for me. But I can't get IT to even get them on the list of things that they're going to do. If I could just have something like this, I could build it myself. So there's a huge demand for what they call user-defined business applications, UDBAs, that we think is something that Pega Express is going to be something that we will be able to meet. So that's an interesting sort of exploratory area for us. Another strategy in the applications world that we made a pillar of our go-to-market is we traditionally went after the Fortune 500 companies, the very, very biggest companies in the world. We've decided our technology has now reached a point where it is approachable enough, particularly with Pega Express, particularly with the ability to deploy on the cloud and then grow it, that we want to expand our market base. So we now have a new sales team in place which is going after the Fortune 2000. So they're still billion-dollar companies. You're not going to see Pega selling to the mom-and-pop store. That's not where we think we are. Salesforce, for example, you can buy 3 seats of Salesforce. I don't think we're interested in selling 3 seats of Pega. Although, if somebody has a business plan that works for that, I'd be interested to hear about it. But the Fortune 2000, that's billion-dollar companies. And there is a tremendous interest. It's a different way of selling. The sale has to be quicker. So you'll see our website is very different. A year ago, if you went to our website, you couldn't see any of our products. You saw lots of our customers, lots of customer testimonials, lots of business explanations. Now you can actually see our products. They're right there. You can see how people are using them. Engagement with these customers is much more digital. We actually closed a sale recently with Stanford University, where the sales guy and the customer never actually met, which was a first for Pega. The entire thing was conducted via basically online sessions. They looked at stuff on our website and so on. So that's part of what you're going to see us doing, is actually trying to broaden the base that we're going after, enlarge the market. So I want to talk a little bit about the engagement model, because this is sort of leaded from that, digital engagement in the sales process, people being able to try before they buy, having stuff on our website that is the primary way that people interact with us. In the old days, we always thought of selling. We would sell things to people. We're trying to shift that to being a company that people can buy things from. And in the corollary to that is the whole way that we engage with customers, with partners, we're trying to shift to something which is maybe a little more 21st century, a little more appropriate for the type of company that we want to become. So you will see in the PTM, PTM has now moved to a more modern technology. It's now search engine optimized. So if you get that odd Pega 045 alert, what does that mean? You can just Google it and it will tell you what it means. I mean, a year ago that seemed just out of reach. So we've actually done the work to do that. The way you interact with our support team, now we want the last thing you ever want to do is open an SR, a support request. Up until recently, it was the only thing that you could do. You can now, from the support portal, search all of the knowledge base articles. There are videos out there which show you how to do common things you might want to do. Every support request that we get gets turned into a knowledge base article so that you can search it, so somebody else may have been there before you. We now have a support community portal. So you can post your issue on the portal. The support team, the engineering team, the services teams, and other customers and partners are engaged in that community, and they're answering your questions. So we have really healthy dialogues going on of people sharing information, sharing knowledge, and helping each other, which is, I think, the way that people want to interact in this day and age. So I encourage everybody to go check that stuff out. It is actually way faster if you have I'm trying to figure this out, it doesn't seem to be working for me, type question, to post it on the community than it is to open a support request. It's probably 10 times faster to get to the right answer, is the experience that we see. So I'd encourage everybody to try and do it that way. The last thing I wanted to touch on was technology refresh. We've got a lot of products and a lot of old products. Some of them are Pega products. I mean, I originally started working on what we now call PegaWorks, which was the old IBM mainframe VAX PL1 technology back when I joined the company. We still have customers who are running CICS-based systems. We still have 2 customers who are running VAX-based systems, if anybody here is old enough to know what a VAX actually is. We got a lot of old stuff. We acquired Cordiant. Cordiant has a very, very loyal, fanatical customer base who are still running a lot of their products. We acquired Antenna. Antenna has 5 separate product ranges which are out there running. And then you have PowerPC. PowerPC is still running right up to, we have people who are still running version 4, version 5s, and version 6s. Whereas Pega 7 is really the platform that we think is the go-forward platform. So as a company, we've always been very tolerant of people's wanting to stay with the technology that seems to be working for them. And I think our basic attitude is not changing. But the world around us is changing a little bit. There is huge emphasis now on security. And security is really a factor of our products, but it's much more a factor of the stack that sits underneath our products. And many of the stack components that are underlying those old versions have huge security gaps that are now becoming very well understood and well known. And we think it's actually getting very, very risky for a lot of our customers to stay on those old stack components. And some of our customers have started to realize that too. We've had customers who basically mandated every system in the whole operation is going to move onto the latest technology within like 3 months, causing massive disruption to IT projects and so on, just to go through and get that stuff done. But security, you hear about breaches all the time. I don't know if you guys see it in contracts, but in the contracts that we see, there is a tendency to try to shift the responsibility for security and breaches to the vendors, right? You have to absorb the liability for that. So of course, there's now insurance companies who will give you insurance policies to be able to do that. But we started a program to really try and encourage and support moving customers to Pega 7. Suman mentioned the ECS team, the Engineering Customer Success team. They have been instrumental in leading that, and they've reached out to a lot of our partners, and a lot of you are engaged in that program because we think there's a real business opportunity to move people forward. Many of the customers who are running on the older technology have gotten kind of stagnant. If we can get them interested in moving to Pega 7, beyond the engagement to get them moved, then there is a huge opportunity to really work with them to start to leverage that, build out more applications. So I think it's a good win-win for the partners who engage with us and for Pega to move people forward. So again, that's something I would encourage you to pay attention to. If you go to the PTM, there's lots and lots of materials there. We have upgrade certification classes that have been put in place. There's been something like 1,000 people already who've signed up and taken the upgrade classes. So there clearly is a demand, but I really wanted to highlight that as something that I think is important for you to pay attention to. So in terms of what we're up to, that's really a short highlight of the things that are front of my mind anyway as we go forward. I will thank you again for coming. I'll come back again later and give you a bit more detail about the cloud and some other things, and now I'll turn it back to you.